like I'm at the dentist. Hello, welcome. I'm John. I'm from Hotel Emma. Supper is our restaurant, and I'm here today to bring a couple holiday favorites, not only for now, but for the rest of the year as well. And I'm here with Cooking with Chef Charlotte, who will help me out with a few of these things.
Absolutely. I am here in the chat. So if you guys have any questions, I will answer them live in the chat. So hit us up with all the questions. We want to hear all the things. I have to ask, so should I call you John or Chef? Chef John?
John's good.
John is good. Okay. And so how long have you been at Hotel Emma?
I've been at Emma since 2014. We opened up in 2015, so a little over 7 years now.
Right on. Very exciting. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. I'm super excited about the menu that you've prepared, these side dishes. But I have to ask before you get started, what is your favorite holiday side dish?
Ooh.
Like the thing you can't live without?
Probably the mashed potatoes.
Okay. See, we have another vote for mashed potatoes. And do you do a special mashed potato?
I do them different. A little bit different. There's always got to be a twist on them, I think.
Okay.
Thanksgiving is one of those non-negotiable menus. You can't really play too much with that. So other times, I have plenty of other times to play, but Thanksgiving is one you kind of have to be traditional about it.
Everyone in the family kind of has a thing, right?
Yes.
Like, somebody likes the stuffing this way, somebody likes the gravy this way. I get it. Okay.
There's lots of territory.
I get it. All right, so tell us about the things you're making today.
Well, three things, all in the season of holiday, but also the first one is one of our most favorite items at supper, and it's a fun version of Brussels sprouts and cauliflower, which adding these peanuts, we were inspired from Muzquiz in Mexico, chili garlic peanuts, a little bit of honey and caramel popcorn. It's kind of like Cracker Jack vegetables. So it combines a few of my favorite things, such as Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. And our second one, we'll do a version of sweet potato gnocchi. And this kind of goes into some inspired by indigenous foods, indigenous grains, indigenous products. So we're using some local flour as well as sweet potatoes, which part of it is inspired from the UNESCO. And San Antonio is a city of gastronomy, is recognized by UNESCO. And some of these ingredients can be found through Mission San Juan, or grown right here. So the last two of these dishes, I think, are more sincere as far as our region and our territory. And they're a fun version to use, but also, again, it can be used year-round.
I'm very into all of these dishes, and I love how, like, some of these can be used for, like, Friendsgiving or the day after Thanksgiving with your leftovers. I really like all of these things, but I want to go back to these peanuts real quick. Okay. Tell us a little bit more about these peanuts.
These peanuts are common. They're just a Spanish red-skin peanut, but we toast them 3 different times with some roasted garlic oil, and season them up with some ground toasted chili piquin and sliced garlic that's also been roasted, and that together, they can be a little bit spicy, but they're terribly addictive. And if you've been to Sternworth, you've probably seen them complimentary, or even the bar at supper. But we use them for on a variety of dishes. And I think in today's dish, it combines a lot more fun. Like I said, it kind of goes back to that Cracker Jack vegetable dish.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm very excited about this. I want to see all of this in action.
Okay, all right, I'll start off with it.
You kind of lit up there when you were talking about those peanuts. I had them. They're delicious. Those little bits of garlic, wonderful.
They're hard to not eat. We do sell them in supper and Sternworth, and they're available online.
So someone could go to like Emma.com, Hotel Emma, the website, and find them. Fantastic.
Yeah.
This dish sort of has all the things going on. It's got like the sweet, the salty, the bitter, the tart, the sour, all the things.
The longest thing that it'll take to cook this dish is the cauliflower, and you'll want to put it in the oven at about 400 degrees for about 15 minutes plus. It could take a little bit longer. No need to coat it or rub it or season it. Just roast it whole. It can take maybe a little bit longer, but generally at 400 degrees works just fine. And once you pull it out, it kind of steams itself and gets all soft and delicious. While that's in the oven, I like cast iron pans. What'd you say, the original nonstick?
The original nonstick.
While you put that in the oven, put your cast iron pan about medium heat, and you want it to heat up. It's going to take a while to heat it up, but because it's cast iron, it has this great residual heat to it that'll help continue cooking the rest of the veg. Obviously, we use Brussels sprouts. I think it's always best to peel them to get that outer stem. You don't know where it's been, but it's also good just to stem them a little bit of the stem, and just discard those leaves. But as you these I pre-prepped a little bit, but based on bite size, it kind of goes back to the tines of a pork. I would quarter, based on the size of your Brussels sprout, just quarter up all these Brussels sprouts.
And they take less time to cook the smaller they are.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yeah, and you'll want to portion down your cauliflower same size as well. The florets will naturally fall apart. And the great thing about the cauliflower is once it's been roasted so well, you're at a great yield on it. You're not throwing a lot away.
Yeah. I love roasted cauliflower. I like the little tiny bits, like if you cut it up, the little tiny like burnt bits that you get. It's a great flavor.
It's a great snack just to make and set it on the counter, and people will naturally gravitate towards it. I like to season it with nutritional yeast or
Okay.
Salt and vinegar powder is fun.
They make that salt and vinegar powder, like you could get like those seasonings for popcorn and
Yes,
stuff. We
yep.
talked briefly about that. So here's something. When I make Brussels sprouts, sometimes I always get those little leaves that come off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you throw those in there anyway? Doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter, or you can save them and throw them in a salad.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So they're already cleaned, right? And
Yeah.
they're not gonna go bad. They're also great just to saute and add to other veg later. You know, it's nothing should really go to waste. Not like you're gonna compost, but you will have some natural petals, and they're good just to fold into another dish. So we'll take these cut Brussels sprouts and we'll add them to this pan. I don't know if you can tell the temperature of it, but there's a little bit of heat coming off of it, and I think that's great. It's kind of what you want. And this is dry roasting or blistering. Not a big fan of using oil at this method because it tends to just fry, can get a little acrid, and probably make your house smoke up a little bit too. But just dry roasting it, and just let them sit in there so the cut sides are down if you can, and try not to stir it or shake it too much. You want to get it to a color golden brown, or we call it in the kitchen GBD, golden brown delicious, and that will add well to. You'll see the cauliflower when I pull out here in a minute. So while this is cooking, I'll pull the cauliflower out by movie magic.
So let me ask you a question. You want to do the cut side down. Is that because you want more of that browning on the surface area?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it has a bigger surface area than, say, the brown side.
Okay. Ooh, look at that.
So it'll generally be cooled by the time you pull this out. Or by the time you're ready to use it. So it shouldn't be too hot to handle, but if it is, just use it on a cutting board. I'm going to cut off the big florets of this, and then we'll break it down a little bit more as well. But this is that color that you're looking for. And then from here, just pick it into the bowl.
Courtney McDougall says your cauliflower looks amazing, and she's had it at the restaurant.
Oh, good. Well, thank
We
you.
have another question. How long did you say you roasted the cauliflower? About 15 minutes?
About 15 minutes at 400 degrees. And if anything, you'll want to give it a few more minutes than that. But I'd say 15 would be about your base, your lowest amount. And you're going to cook it by color. So set a timer, but keep an eye on the color of it.
And it's GBD.
GBD. That's
Golden
just
brown and delicious.
That's just an old kitchen term for color. No color, no flavor is another saying. Your food needs to have some color on it.
I agree. We had an argument on the last class about fat as flavor. And I'm like, I mean, it is, but it's not the only flavor.
Right. Smoke is also flavor, but
Yes.
it's not the only flavor.
And so you're just like piecing these up to same size about
Yep.
of the
I'm thinking about a fork. Never want it to be too much bigger than a fork.
I like that. Sometimes I'm eating things like, you know, like stick my fork in something and I'm
It's too big, too
too
awkward
big.
to eat.
Yes.
So you see the color that's on the sprouts now. They're starting to steam a little bit. You can see the steam coming off of them, but they're cooking up a little bit better what you wanted. But while this is still finishing up, I'm just turning a couple of them over to get more cut side down. We'll add the rest of the components to this. Peanuts are a big thing, and again, judge by your crowd and how spicy they may or may not want it, how crunchy they may want it, because these can be a little warm. I like caramel popcorn, so I'm always going to go heavier on that. And then it's the chili garlic sauce, which is essentially just a lot of garlic and chili flake and some chili powder. But that goes in there as well with the honey. Again, a generous amount of honey based on how sweet you may or may not want it. And I still will season it with salt and pepper, just out of habit.
This is like a vegetable snack.
Yes. It's vegetables for adults.
Yes.
One other, like I said, the one other ingredient that we'll like to add is vinegar powder. That just adds a little bit of that tartness. You can use citric acid if you want, but I think it adds a little bit of that acid hit that you might want to make your meal.
You were giving us or giving me a hack earlier on how to make the vinegar powder. You could use vinegar and
baking soda.
Okay.
If you didn't have vinegar powder, feel free to use a splash of apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
It works well. A little bit of acid to finish every dish will just make it brighter. It's all even a little splash of vinegar in soup before you serve it makes a world of difference.
Oh my God, it smells so good in here.
And the pan's clean too. You don't have to really worry about it.
I like that blistering idea. We do that sometimes, or I do that sometimes when I make salsa, but I've never thought to put my vegetables just straight in the pan like that. Okay, so Deborah says vinegar and baking powder or vinegar and baking soda. We said baking soda.
Baking soda, yeah.
Baking soda, Deborah.
Now I'm going to finish it with a little bit of herb, with some fresh herbs.
And you say any fresh herbs?
Yeah, I always like a little bit of parsley and chive.
Okay.
I think it just adds a little bit of texture to it.
We have one question. Lisa wanted to know, generally speaking, how long would your Brussels sprouts take? Are we going for time or are we going for texture or look?
We're going for texture. So every Brussels sprout's just a little different, a little bit different in size. So I would say go for texture, that it's not too soft. You can roast them in the oven with your cauliflower if you want, and you don't want to use a cast iron method. Again, I would just put them cut them like we did. Put them on a sheet tray and roast them out. They'll probably take about 9 minutes. They'll take about
amazing.
9 minutes in the oven, but you can go in the same temperature as what your cauliflower did. So.
Okay. This is like the perfect Friendsgiving side dish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Friendsgiving is a great time to like bring in something new, I think.
Yep. I agree. I think you'll be invited back next year if you brought this.
And you said this is one of the most popular.
It is. It is one of our most popular dishes. It was not discovered by accident, but I think it started off inspired to come up with a fun bar snack, some fun bar vegetable, something that was not with meat. And I like to take vegetables and treat them like meat and coax a little bit more flavor out of them than just meat. So that was inspired as something not heavy, but deeply darkly roasted and delicious.
There's so many layers of flavor in there, and The caramel popcorn is like a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. So what is our next dish that you have prepared for us?
The next one, we'll go into the gnocchi. And this is, again, sweet potatoes. It's a great time of year. It's the holiday season. And I like this version of a Parisian gnocchi, which starts off as a basic pâte method. And it's poached. And again, I like to poach it in chicken stock. But it will require a mixer. Most gnocchis are rolled and they're like fluffy little pillows. Well, these are too. They're just not rolled.
So this is really, so it's a little bit easier when you're like, instead of rolling, you don't need so much counter space. But the pâte method, tell us a little bit. Like pâte is what you would make an eclair, a profiterole, a cream puff with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the mixer comes in, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I see some cheese, some herbs.
I'm just getting my pan ready over here with.
And you said you were going to poach them in chicken stock. So do you make all of your chicken stock? Like, do you make chicken stock all the time at your house?
Not all the time.
Okay.
But I don't buy it either.
Okay.
But when I do get a roast, when I do get a whole chicken, I do make stock out of it. It has so many layers, so many levels. What's that?
Predominantly, but not exclusively.
Yeah, predominantly. Right. While this pan's getting hot, well, basically we're going to start off with some butter, which we're going to melt with a little bit of water and some flour, and then we'll fold in the sweet potato. I did pre-roast some sweet potatoes earlier, and they don't need to be processed. You peel them, but then just box grate them. Just box grate the sweet potato, and that'll give you your good mash. You don't need to worry about breaking up the cell structure so much in a blender or in a food processor. Just box grate them, and that's a great way to. And you always get the right amount then.
Could you do this with like pumpkin?
Yeah.
Like canned pumpkin or something like that?
The best one to do is Koboka Squash. I love Koboka Squash. And that's a really hard pumpkin that's out there right now. But yes, you could do it. The Cinderella pumpkins might be a little bit too watery, but I would do pumpkin would work great. Yeah, you could. I've done this with parsnips before.
Ooh.
Any good root vegetable is a good way to incorporate into it. And if you didn't add, it would be a different recipe. But if you didn't add the sweet potato, it'd probably just be a little bit less flour in the whole dish.
Okay. So like if someone had some leftover mashed potatoes after Thanksgiving?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. I haven't done that one, but
Okay.
yeah, I believe you could probably gnocchi about anything.
All right. I believe you could gnocchi about anything.
Yeah.
I'm going to make that a bumper sticker or a
Okay.
t-shirt.
All right, I'm going to start on some
All right.
making a gnocchi. I get some water here.
Look at the color of those eggs. Those are like the most beautiful looking eggs. And all those herbs. And are you just using regular AP flour in this?
Yes. If you really want to go local and indigenous, I would find a local milled flour. But yes, this is all-purpose flour. Not much more than that.
And then how many pounds of sweet potatoes would you say we used?
I probably use about 3 of them,
Okay.
3 average size. Yeah, about 3 average size. Once
Okay.
you peel them, roast them, fine. And those you can prep the day before too.
Oh, that's smart. All right, another question. This is just a personal question from me to you. Salted or unsalted butter?
Unsalted.
Okay. All right, we'll put one
Unsalted.
in the unsalted category.
Yeah.
I use salted butter all the time.
I think you need to have a controlled environment, and
Okay.
that if you have salt in your butter, you're losing control of that.
Okay, I can get on board with that. Do you ever use milk in a choux dough? Always water.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I've also made the gnocchi in the juice of, instead of water, using carrot juice to make carrot gnocchi. So applying it on a few different levels. So
Okay.
yeah, there are options. Water and flour just tend to bind together a little bit better
Yeah.
than anything else. You can do it, but you might run into a few struggles with the vegetables.
Okay.
And I just want to get the butter mostly melted before I add the flour to it.
Looks so good. And then to the other pot you have on the stove, that is your chicken stock.
Chicken stock,
correct?
yep. And chicken stock's great to cook your mashed potatoes in for Christmas too, or Thanksgiving.
So that's what you were saying. And then you also said another good trick. So it adds layer of flavor, which is what we like. Really good cooking is about layering in the flavors, right?
Yep.
And having like depth of flavor.
Also cook your pasta in stock too.
Ooh. So you've added in your flour, and now did you turn off the heat, or?
No, I'm going to keep it on there. I want it to toast
Okay.
a little bit. I just want to incorporate most of this flour before I add the sweet potato to it. You can use a whisk for this. It's fine. I'm just more comfortable with a big, heavy wooden spoon. And it's okay if you see the bottom of the pan starting to toast a little bit. It's just incorporating.
That's really good information because sometimes I panic when
Yeah,
that happens.
it's not like you're making a roux per se, but you do want. You want to smell it. You want the bloom. You want to toast the flour. You know, and I work with another chef who he anything he does with flour, he toasts it all first in the oven, and it does add another layer to it.
Yeah. Beautiful sweet potatoes. So the potatoes go in the pan with the water, the butter, and the flour.
Mm-hmm. And now I'm just incorporating it all to the heat is still on because I do want it to dry out.
Okay.
I do want there is a fair amount of moisture in the sweet potato, and you can dry out your sweet potato again in the oven. You can make it all even more. That's fine too. But I'm trying this to kind of get together.
The color is amazing.
Pardon?
The color is beautiful.
I believe these sweet potatoes came from Grand Saline, Texas, which is a little bit east of here. Okay, now I have the batter ready to go. I'm going to put it in the mixer along with a bit of mustard, the eggs, and the cheese.
You have the paddle attachment in there.
Yes, paddle works great.
Oh, man. I'm just thinking about eating these. That's all I can think of.
Think about what?
About eating these.
And these obviously can be made a day ahead of time. There's no need to worry about the day of.
So could you make some and then freeze them? So you could do they freeze well or no?
You know, funny story. Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, I have accidentally frozen them, put them in a fridge, and accidentally frozen. So just a couple weeks ago in Italy, made a batch for an event, and they held them in the kitchen. I asked them to hold them in the kitchen, and they put them in a cooler, but my Italian wasn't so good, and they ended up in the freezer. They came out just fine.
Okay. So
So
when
it's,
I do, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
sorry. So it's mixing up a bit now. Now you might want to, if you have a spatula, it's a good time to use it. It's kind of cooling off while it's doing this as well. I haven't seasoned it at this point. We haven't used salted butter. The cheese is going to have a little bit of salt in it, but I will season the bat as it goes, and we'll add some more at the end. And this is a Gruyere cheese. You can use Comté cheese or Emmentaler. I've done it with Manchego. Not quite the best. Parmesan just a little bit too oily.
Okay.
Or cheddar is a little bit too oily, and Parmesan can be a little bit too dry. So I found that Gruyere, Comté, or Emmentaler work best.
So the mustard, what, a 1/4 cup?
Yes.
Okay.
I like mustard.
I do too. All different types.
Yeah. And as you can see, we'll just slowly start adding the eggs. And these are 10 to 12 eggs. You'll be able to tell by the texture of this as it goes how flat it is or how stiff it's going to be. If you need more eggs to it.
Y'all, we should have smell-o-vision. It smells so good in here. Large eggs, jumbo eggs, extra
Yes.
large.
Yes
Okay.
to all the above.
Okay.
Local eggs are great, obviously. But yeah, I think your regular medium-sized eggs that you can get at the
Okay.
store. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it being
Okay.
too picky. Everybody see the batter? Okay. So we'll take this out. It's kind of loose right now, right? It's almost flat, a little soupy. It's still a little bit warm. And we'll grab a pastry bag. Plastic ones work great. You can use a cloth bag if you like. It's just a little bit more to clean up.
So we do sell pastry bags at H-E-B in the baking section, but if you can't find a pastry bag, you could use like a Ziploc bag.
Yep.
Can we do that? Okay.
And you see it's kind of warm right now. You see a little bit of steam. It's a little thick.
Ooh.
We'll let this cool, and it'll tighten up a little bit.
And so as it cools, is it going to like thicken up and
Yep.
yeah?
Yeah. And I like to use a piece of string just to kind of seal the end of it.
I keep rubber bands for that.
Ah.
I have a junk drawer full of rubber bands, and that's what I use them for.
Also plastic wrap. If you can pull off a little bit of plastic wrap, it makes a great little rope.
That's a super chefy kitchen hack right there.
Well, we used to use it instead of a belt, we would use plastic wrap and hook that up and it'll make a belt. Okay. Time for movie magic. Well, we'll take the a batch of the gnocchi that's been in the bag. It's just sat for a little bit and cooled. I didn't put it in the fridge, but it has cooled a bit and come up to temperature. And we're going to cut the end of it off. And again, kind of going back to bite size or Brussels sprout size or popcorn size. No, cut the holes not bigger than the tines of a fork. And everything kind of judge that way. So you can make them really small if you like. That's great. You can make a lot of them, or you can just do some bigger ones. And just cut the tip of that off, and then with your hand, like here, I use a plastic wrap to seal this one up. We'll start cooking them in the chicken stock. I like to use a little palette knife as a knife. The stock is not boiling or too ripping hot, I guess, but it's got a good flow to it. And with your hand at the end of the bag and kind of twisting as you go, just push and then use the knife to kind of cut these off.
Scissors. I would use scissors. Is that cheating?
Nope, scissors. I've done it also with fishing twine or butcher twine tied across the from handle to handle.
Okay.
And you kind of just go back and forth and zip it along. Scissors works too. I'm just fond of this method.
So I have to tell you, like, depending on how long and how many I was doing, the first ones would be like all uniform in size and small, and then towards the end they just get bigger. Oh man.
So we'll let these cook, and the water just got a little bit of a stir to it, just to give it
Okay.
some motion, but don't disrupt it too much. Don't overwork it.
Well, I don't know what anyone else here is going to eat, but that's my serving. Okay, so I see a non-stick skillet.
Okay, so well,
What's happening?
non-sticks work great too.
Yes.
I'm using non-stick now because I'm going to add a whole bunch more ingredients to this, and I'm going to want to flip it. So cast iron pan's harder to flip if I wasn't adding so much stuff to it. Cast irons are great because you can just serve right in and it keeps the heat and all. But in this case, I do want to add a few more ingredients, and I do want to saute it a little bit.
Okay. Are you going to go directly from the stock into the skillet?
No, but you could.
Okay.
You could. I would allow it to drip a little bit.
All right.
Here, let's see. When these come up, I would allow it just to drain a little bit. When they do come out of the pan, I will put a little bit of oil down for them. You can see them starting to float now.
Look at them pop up. They're like
Yes.
little ducks.
Yeah. If you had a deep fry, it'd also make great little croutons. You could flash fry them as like a crouton.
Ooh.
So gnocchi croutons, patachoux croutons.
Challenge accepted.
Or as a fun bar snack, and just grate some Parmesan over the top of them and eat them like little sweet potato puffs.
I'm getting the feeling that you have the best bar snack menu ever in the world.
Oh, it's always evolving.
Like, there's no wings on this menu.
No.
Yes.
No.
See?
No. No. We don't need wings.
So when they pop up, when they start to float, they're pretty much ready?
Yeah, I'm just making sure there's no one left behind.
No gnocchi left behind.
Because once we start taking them out, they all should somewhat cook evenly, but not overcook. So it didn't take crazy amount of time.
They held their shape really nice.
Thanks. When they blow up, it's not a good thing.
No. What does that mean? So if you do put them in the water and they explode or disintegrate, what does that mean?
You haven't bound them well enough.
Okay.
You haven't incorporated the flour. The gluten hasn't worked, or the eggs haven't bound. So these are great right now, but we're going to pop them in the fridge because I think they'll sear up a little bit better. I did some earlier. I did a couple different sizes. You can see these are just a touch bigger than these. So you can play it either way you want. They can obviously go bigger than that. I like them with a little bit of brown butter. And again, with that brown butter, so the pan's hot, not too hot.
Ooh, I have a great question. One of our viewers asked, is gluten-free flour an option?
Yes. Totally
okay,
is.
here we go.
Totally
yes, it is.
Totally is. Garbanzo. You just be careful with it that you don't get a gluten-free flour that's too not too dirty, but sometimes it can be too gritty. So there are some great gluten-free flours out there.
Okay.
Yeah, totally an option.
Would you have to add any extra egg as a binder, or should?
No,
Okay.
I think you'll see and feel the texture of it. I don't
Okay.
think it'll. I did add a little bit of extra oil to this. I don't want it to burn too much, but you can see the color that I'm getting off the butter.
So adding in a little bit of oil sort of raises the smoke point.
Yeah, I like sunflower seed oil.
Okay.
Olive oil will work too.
All right.
And I'll give them a toss just to kind of get so they all get a little coated. And again, we're going to trying to go for some color. Sage works really good. That's sage. I like adding a little bit of sage to it.
Like whole pieces of sage, just kind of toss
I
it
like,
in there?
well, you know, I used to work for a chef, and he always made us pick the little bits of sage, and I'll use some of this. Only the small leaves of sage. Again, not trying to shake it too much, just a little bit. See it goes.
Ooh, sorry, I get excited. This is so. So what do you do with the stock? Do you save that stock and use it for
Oh
something
yeah, totally.
else?
I would just strain out the stock.
Okay. Good to know.
Strain out the stock. Again, you could, if you wanted to, if you want to keep this a moist dish, you could add a little bit of stock back to here. I'm going to garnish this up with a few fun ingredients.
Okay, so what do you have there? Tell us what you have.
I'm going to use some pomegranate seeds.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of whole leaves of parsley. I think they're underrated and often neglected, but whole leaves of parsley are great. And this can go anywhere. This can go a lot of different directions. If you want to add some meat to this, or turkey or pork, that's great too. I really like this pumpkin seed relish we make, this Pepita crunch. And again, this was kind of inspired by another trip to another city of gastronomy in Mexico, where we got some influence from that. But this pumpkin seed mix with sesame seeds and morita chili, pomegranates, because it's that time of year, and they're always good to have. If you want to add some whole chunks of sweet potato to this too, to kind of stretch out, make it more vegetable heavy. And candied pecans, because they're in season, plus figs. Figs are going around. I got a couple fig trees in my yard, but I think it keeps it right on that border between being a main dish and a dessert.
Ooh.
But here's another chance you could also add those Brussels sprout leaves that you saved earlier.
Okay.
Just put these in here. Give that a toss. One other fun veg is the Swiss chard leaves. Just peeling them off the stem. Save the stem. Don't use it. These are great. The stems are great if you ever want to pickle them.
Okay.
And by pickle, it means you could just put them in a jar of your leftover pickle liquid at home, or make a quick pickle. But pickled chard stems are delicious, and we'll use some in the next dish after this, some of the chard stems. So, like I said, nothing goes to waste. But this kind of tear these up a little bit. They'll break down with the heat of the pan.
So there's something I've noticed with this dish is that I can hear a little sizzle, but it's not like an aggressive, roaring sizzle. It's sort of gentle.
Yes. Little pillows. I'm trying to.
It looks so good.
Pecans. Bunch of pomegranate seeds. The whole parsley.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. Yeah, we're not done yet. I haven't put enough items in this dish.
Keep going. I'm here for it. It's
Okay.
like a, like a salad.
Right.
More
Well,
the
yeah,
merrier.
it's a gnocchi salad, I guess. Here, the pumpkin seeds, and then I always like to finish things with a little bit of, like we talked about, parm earlier.
Yeah.
If you don't want to use the parm, and it's too much cheese, then nutritional yeast is great.
For that umami flavor.
Yes. I think you just need a little bit of that salty hit. And on the parm, I like to have it with a big box grater. Not the microplane, a big box grater, because then you get those good big salty hits, so those crystallized.
Everyone's jaws are like on the floor right now, and all of our mouths are watering. That is like beautiful. It didn't take long for that chard to wilt at all.
No, and you can, if you don't want to use chard, you can use spinach.
I don't know, chard's in season.
Mm-hmm.
Some more figs.
I like more fig. I think it should be fig in every bite.
Look at that. Again, I don't know what anybody else is going to eat. That's my serving.
Well, this is a great Friendsgiving thing. Could be a salad, a warm salad. I think roasted turkey, leftover roasted turkey would be good on this. Some braised pork if you need to add another protein to it.
Lorraine says, want, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Oh, that's good. Thanks, Lorraine. Any other questions so far?
Do you have any questions? I'm just like, you made that look like the easiest thing. We're just going to make some casual Parisian gnocchi in 15 minutes. That was impressive.
I've been making a lot of gnocchi lately.
Mary did say, she said, I assume they're best made and eaten immediately, but is there any chance you can make these ahead?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I would. I fully believe in pre-gaming. And when you can, these will hold well. So like I have that tray that's in the oven in the fridge right now, I would probably let it cool and then cover it up and save it till tomorrow.
Okay.
I think you got. I wouldn't keep anything you like produce. Don't keep it more than 3 days. So this, if you made this today and today's Friday, you probably still eat it for lunch on Monday. But that'd be the last I would have it. If you want to beef this up, like I said, you could add a fun dish would be to take all that sweet potato and line the bowl with the sweet potato and give it a little bit more sweet potato depth.
Okay, what's your address? Because I'm going to be there for Thanksgiving. All right, so our next dish, our final dish is, this is very interesting, a savory wheat berry pancake. I cannot say that I've ever had a savory pancake.
Well, this I give credit to my mom because she taught me how to make pancakes, and so I've taken that, and then I've learned a lot about indigenous foods over time and what's available around here as well. So this comes from that using some whole grains, and I think we've talked about whole grain diets and whole grain foods, and these are obviously available locally. So I'm going to make a basic pancake, and there are options to make this vegan. You make it dairy free. You can probably make it gluten free too if you want to sub out.
Okay.
And it is a little rustic and
So really quickly, did you make like pancakes every morning or every Saturday morning with your mom? Like, what's
we
the
made
story
them
there?
a lot. We made them a lot, and I always remember pancakes, and they're almost to the point where there's actually a plate for pancakes that they went on.
Okay, you have
Had a pancake plate.
a pancake plate. All right, we have one question from one of our Facebook viewers. What wine would you pair with that gnocchi?
Ooh, Nebbiolo.
Nebbiolo. Okay.
Or a Barbera from Italy, and I only say that because I was just there.
So you got Italy on the brain.
I'm in love with Nebbiolos. So.
Okay.
Okay, so on the pancake, I'm adding roasted garlic to it, whole roasted garlic cloves. I'm also going to add some mustard because, like I really enjoy mustard.
Do you have a specific way that you roast your garlic, or?
Yes, I find the best results are to cover the garlic in oil, like a sunflower seed oil, and put it in a pan or on the stove, and just bring it up slowly. Don't move it around. Don't boil it. Don't get it too hot, and it'll slowly, evenly cook all the garlic. I find when you put it in the oven and you just cover it lightly, some roast differently than others, and there's a different color to it. But if you put it in a pan, cover it with oil, and then you pull out the oil and save that and use that for a dressing or vinaigrette or plenty of other purposes, or even just to finish this pancake off is a great component. And then keep the garlic in a container in your fridge. Works out great. But anyway, so garlic and the mustard in a bowl. We're going to kind of smash that up. As best we can. And then we'll crack an egg in here. What did I say in the recipe? 2 eggs or 1 egg?
You said 1 egg, Chef.
Great.
John.
All right, great. 1 egg, and there's a cup of flour. We'll add some oat milk, because oat milk's in right now, and I think it's.
That's a good flavor.
Yes. I will do a teaspoon of baking powder in here as well, and then a cup of the whole berries. These are what the whole grains would look like. Rob, like I said, you can sub out a variety of different ingredients to that, and then a little bit of salt.
You said you could use quinoa
Yep.
earlier. So these are farro. Farro's a wheat berry.
Yep.
So farro, and I know there's like kamut and
Barley. I mean, I've done this with oatmeal too.
Ooh, I make savory oats all the time. I call them risotto oats. It's delicious.
Yeah. Or porridge. This makes a great porridge.
Could you put this in your waffle iron?
Unless you like cleaning out your waffle iron.
Nobody likes cleaning out their waffle iron, but it's kind of fun. A waffle.
Oh, in this one, I'll use a bit of that Oa Santa leaf that we were talking about earlier.
So tell us about the Oa Santa, because Johnny Hernandez talked about it when he did his class. It seems to also be having a moment, and it's an indigenous flavor plant. Tell us about it.
It's the new it leaf, I think. It's not quite. Almost has some almost mint characteristics to it without being too minty or eucalyptus. It obviously has some great digestive components to it, and it's healthy, and it's strong in our culture, around here and down into Central America. But it's a great. I like adding it to it. I mean, omelets, tacos, making a salsa verde out of it or a chimichurri.
Okay.
I'll even add it to smashed avocado.
Fantastic. And you say this. We don't sell this in our stores, so where did you get yours?
Our friendly, I grow some at home, but we got this from our friendly landscaper. So
okay.
I always ask a friendly greenskeeper if they have access, because they're usually trimming it all, and it's very prolific. You'll find it in a lot of places you didn't realize it was there. Don't steal it. It's around.
I do believe another chef in San Antonio actually. I believe he's a plant thief. He borrowed some from
It's hard to borrow.
from a local restaurant.
Yeah. Okay, so again, now it goes back to basic pancake method. Brown butter is always a great flavor. I think brown butter is it's the new vanilla, or the cheap vanilla. Um,
Did you say brown butter is the new vanilla?
it just doesn't cost as much, and it has just delicious properties.
Okay, I like that. You didn't do the test pancake. You're a professional. Look at you.
You always throw out the first pancake.
See, yes, the first pancake always burns. It never works out right.
And like any other pancake, keep cooking it till you see the edges come up. The bubbles come up on the edge.
So, some people say never to put oil in the pan, and you put the brown butter in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I liken almost like a crepe method where you brown the butter when you're making the crepes.
Yeah.
So I think it's a key component to it.
Okay. Layers of flavor.
It's deliberate. It's a deliberate flavor. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. So now I have to ask: your mom taught you how to make pancakes? Is there anything that you taught your boys? Like, do you have like a breakfast tradition, a Thanksgiving tradition?
Oh, we have tons of traditions. Things that I've taught them.
Like about cooking.
Well, I like to think I taught them a lot. I hope it's not a test, but I like to think that, yeah, they can cook. My wife's a great cook. I think it's just it's part of our life. It's part of our. That's a really good question. What they do ask food questions, and they do take food pictures, and
Okay.
they do like to go out to eat.
Are they adventurous eaters?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. They know what they like, and they're willing to try new stuff. They always have been.
Those look beautiful.
I guess these are finishing up. Like I said, we're going to make a salad or a bigger component on this. So I like the hardier leaves, such as frisées, a little bit of wild, kale's great. That the vinaigrette that we'll use for this is just a great all-around vinaigrette for any time of year, not just the holidays. And we'll make that here in just a minute. But again, it's simple, only has three ingredients to it. Make one more batch of these.
Yes, please. Do you have a Thanksgiving tradition that y'all do every year? Do you brine a turkey?
Yes.
Do you deep fry? Okay.
Yeah, I believe in brining turkeys. And I found the best way to do it is in the fridge, not in a bucket.
Okay, tell me about this.
I like to take the bottom drawer out of the fridge that usually has the vegetables in it. Make your brine batter and place your turkey, wash your turkey, put it in that drawer, and then put the brine over top of it and slide it back in and let it sit for a day.
Like the crisper drawer.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, this is genius, revolutionary, if you will. I mean, you will have to clean it out after you're done because it's raw poultry, but that takes care of the great battle of trying to find real estate in your refrigerator.
Yes, and it's also good for if you're doing marinated meats, red pastor, El Pastor, something like that. Marinating chickens. It's not just for Thanksgiving. Okay, while these are cooking, we're gonna finish making the salad. So, like I said, I used the Swiss chard stems. I just cut them up small. We'll add those to the dressing, or add those to the salad. The salad dressing is real simple. Of 3 ingredients: tahini, honey, and vinegar, red wine vinegar.
So if you were going to make this vinaigrette, how long do you think you could keep it in the fridge?
7 to 10 days.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
And then when you do vinaigrettes, do you do equal parts or?
On this one, yeah.
This
one is just do equal parts of each ingredient.
Oh, that's really simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes out the measuring, and you're considered the doesn't dirty so many dishes, I guess.
These remind me of like Johnny cakes, like corn cakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're beautiful. And they're going to be a base for this salad. Best meal. So you save the Swiss chard from our gnocchi.
Mm-hmm.
Chop the stems.
Yeah, I'll add this is a good one to add. I mean, I like goat cheese. We use a great little local goat cheese, so adding a little goat cheese to the salad is fun too. And if you want to go back and use the pomegranates you had earlier, that's fine.
Okay.
You said the whole veg thing and is good. Since you got the pan already hot, let me turn it up a little bit more. A couple more fun veg to use is okra, because it's in season right now.
Yeah.
And just give that, again, a little cut in the bias so you have a flat surface for it.
Okay.
And maybe just kind of break the broccoli down.
I love okra. I love raw okra, fried okra, stewed okra, sauteed, roasted, grilled. I love it.
Have you ever cooked okra down in a pan until it like just turns into a paste?
No, but I know that you can.
And it's real. And you can blend it and it gets real smooth. And you add that to like a risotto or add that to a stew. It's really delicious.
Ooh. I like to eat them with. I just dip them in hummus.
Ah.
I had an okra plant. I thought it was a squash plant. The guy at Home Depot told me it was squash, and then it was not squash. It was okra. So I had quite a few. Was that shallot?
Yeah, a little bit of shallot. I think a little bit of that onion flavor is nice to have. And again, with this, you can. I've served it with roast beef before. Make a great vehicle for some leftover turkey. I think one of the herbs is kind of key to this is marjoram or thyme. So it kind of has that Thanksgiving stuffing flavor, but not that texture. So there's rosemary, thyme, sage, parsley. We have this little salad. I made some, again with that, just dry roasting with some of that residual heat from the pan. Blistered some more vegetable in there. And then mushrooms are great in this too. I mean, there's really no stop to putting it in here.
This has to be one of the most colorful and vibrant classes we've ever done. I mean, there's so many like beautiful colors, so much green.
A little salt, pepper. So this is about wrapping it up. So this would be a great Friendsgiving platter you could take. Pancakes they can hold those for a bit. Like I said, they're savory, so they're not gonna go bad, but they won't get too stiff or turn into a crouton on you.
Those beautiful pieces of chard.
Yeah. And that's about it.
Wow.
Do you have any questions?
I just want to tell you what's happening in the chat is people are saying, "Oh my God, this is beautiful. Everything looks delicious. This looks so good." We did get a message. Hi, hun. Bring some of that home. I'm assuming that's going to be. The name was John Brand, so it was you. So I'm assuming that's your wife. Patricia says, "Nice." So everything looks fantastic. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
This was amazing.
Good. Well, thanks for having me. Happy holidays, everybody.
I loved
What's
it.
up next?
Actually, so we are off next week for the holiday. I'm definitely going to be doing the Brussels sprouts and the gnocchi. I will let you know how they come out. And then we pick back up on December 1st. We're doing another holiday sides class with Chef Scott Tompkins. If you guys missed anything, go to youtube.com and rewatch this because there were some serious, amazing vegetables happening. It was beautiful, and Chef John was. These are amazing recipes. And to see what else is coming up, go to hb.com/classes. And thanks again, everyone. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.